Hi again, it's Trevor the Whinging Pom. Now, for today, I'm going to talk about coming to Australia by ship. We left Tilbury Docks in 1958 on the Stratford. Now, I thought this was so exciting, catching a ship as a £10 pom. Anyway, what we used to do, I met a few kids like we all do, mucked around with them, played around with them. And what we used to do, the ship used to have a lift. And we'd stand on different floors, we'd press the button. So when he came down, there'd be no one there. And when he went to the next floor, there'd be no one there. We used to do this all the time until he called us out. It was good fun. Anyway, the bloke who called us out was actually a friend of my brother's, David. And we actually passed David on the way to Australia. He was going back the other way because he was in the Merchant Navy. But anyway, one day there we hit a typhoon. I think it's what they call a typhoon. Mum and Dad were in the cabin, 6 dogs, and Chris was in another cabin with young boys because they separated us. Anyway, the ship's going down like that, and it's going down like that. The waves come over that, and I'm out on the deck watching this. Could you imagine your kids doing that today? I don't think so. We'd be very protective of them, wouldn't we? Anyway, we finally landed at Outer Harbour in Adelaide, and they took us straight to Finsbury hostel. There was an old army barracks, and they were galvanised buildings. And I'll tell you something, in summer, God, they could get hot, really hot. No air conditioning, nothing like that. And we all ate in a separate dining room area, so you'd have breakfast, lunch and tea there. As a kid, I met a few other kids, and they used to have these old shower blocks and toilets. And they used to have the old-fashioned light switches, the old black ones, Bakelite ones. And what we used to do was pour a little bit of water on them. So when someone went in there and turned the light on, they got electric shock. I'll tell you something, how dangerous is that? God, you don't realise what you can do, do you? What you do. Anyway, from there we moved to Jeff's Cross Hostel. Same again. Army barracks. But at least there you could cook. So you never had a central eating area. You just cooked there, that's all. And that was all galvanised too. Shaped like the old Air Force buildings. Anyway, I went to Jeff's Cross Primary School. Now, I was actually in an opportunity class, or you call it special class these days, because I had a speech impediment when I was younger. And we used to have a teacher called Mr. Raymond, and he had 3 canes. One for a naughty boy, one for a very naughty boy, and one for a naughty girl. And he used to love using them. He was a bloody sadistic bugger, he was. Anyway, later on he became head of a boys' reform school. Perfect job for him. Perfect job. Anyway, from there we moved to Salisbury North. And because there was no special school there, I went to Elizabeth South. So I'd have to catch a bus and a train to get there. And I can't remember the name of our teacher. She was a horrible, horrible woman. She used to get a 12-inch ruler, if you were naughty. She'd hold your ear out, side on, whack, straight across that ear, then hold the other ear out, whack, straight across that ear. In fact, I got a good hiding one day because I bought it in a roulette wheel. I bought it, or my parents bought it for me, I don't know. Anyway, so I said to the kids, if you pick a number, whatever money you put on, you win the same back. So, of course, I won all their lunch monies, didn't I? And she grabbed hold of me, she belted the shit out of me. Anyway, which would have been end of grade 5, I was still there. And we used to have different degrees of disabilities in this class, so, they varied a hell of a lot. And the school, I don't know, examiner or someone like came round, and they said, they virtually said, what the hell are you doing here? You should be in school. So my first year of school was actually grade 6. And I actually done roughly 2.5 years of school, and that's all I ever did. When I went to grade 6, I was bottom of the class. We had 42 in our class, 40 or 42. And by the time we reached grade 7, I was in the top 10. So it goes to show, if you're willing to learn, you can learn. You hear these people all the time raving on, well, I'm a victim because I've got no education, you know, I'm downtrodden, blah, blah, blah. Well, if I could do it, why can't they? I mean, I owned my own business for 27 years. But anyway, when I was in school, there was a young girl in that class. And one of the boys came up to me, and I can't even remember who it was, might have been Howard or something like that, I can't remember. He said, oh, she plays with candlesticks. I thought, what the hell does he mean? So I goes up and say, because you just mimic things, don't you? You play with candlesticks. Anyway, bawled her eyes out and ran home. Next minute, the parents turned up. They talked to the teacher, and I think it's Mr. Crickridge at the time. Called me out the front, gave me 6 of the best. 3 on each hand, he did. And I tell you, that's something that hurt. And on top of that, he sends me to the headmaster, Mr. Laidlaw. He gives me 6 of the best. 3 on each hand. Oh. And then after that, they sent it home to my father, and my father gave me a belt. And you know what? I still didn't know what it meant. So that was a load of good, wasn't it? Eh? But anyway, I left school, like I said, I left school when I was 14, so I had a lot of different jobs. But I eventually became a lagger, and they do like installation work on cold pipes and hot pipes. And we also had sheet metal workers. What I used to do was I actually used to watch them all day when I had spare time to see how they made things. So when they go home, I'd actually stay back and I'd make bends, cones, you name it. Used to make them. And then I'd screw them up and throw them in the bin. So that's how I became a sheet metal worker. Now, from the time I was about 25, I think, I was always paid as a sheet metal worker. And that's how I started my own installation business. For many years I had it. So when people say to you all the time, you know, we just can't get ahead, anyone can get ahead. You can do anything you want in this world, you just got to have the drive to do it. Anyway, we moved to, from Salisbury North, we moved to Elizabeth Vale in one of those attached commission houses, or we call them housing trust houses in Australia. And a mate of mine used to be Ronald Still, used to live just across the street from us. And we used to play Cowboys and Indians. Now, he always wanted to be an Indian. And we had slug guns, and he had an archery bow. You don't actually aim at each other, you just fire at each other. So if you hit him, you're still not going to earn that much, not with a slug gun anyway. Anyway, one of my mates was up a tree, Ian, can't remember his last name. And Rob said, come down. You're my prisoner. And of course my mate said, no, I get stuffed. I'm not coming there. So he fired the bloody bow at him. This is an archery bow. Next minute, he falls from the tree. Dislocates his shoulder. Jesus Christ, we were idiots. So don't anyone try any of these at home. Any of these things at home, because you'd be completely stupid like I was as a kid. And dangerous. And I'll tell you another funny story. When I be Honda 125 Super Sports, I was so, thought I was so good with it. A mate of mine said, because we used to live near a creek, and he said to us, how about we go down and shoot a few rabbits? I said, yeah, right. This is night time. So he's got a 22 rifle on the back of the bike, and I'm riding it. And every time, say the headlights shone on something, and you saw the colour of the eyes, he'd shoot. And eventually fell off the back of the bike anyway. So he shot a few times. Then we thought we'd better get out of here before the cops turn up. Anyway, next day we all walking down the creek, and there's the police everywhere. I thought, what the hell's happened here? Anyway, the police said, have you seen anyone shooting a rifle down here? No, sir. No, officer. And I said, why? He said, someone shot 10 sheep. Oh, that's what I mean. Oh, God, I was a little shit. I wouldn't do that today, and I wouldn't let my children. In fact, if my children done that, I'd kill them. And on top of that, we used to race like bikes. So some of our friends had scooters. They were called, I can't remember what they're called now. Mods. Sorry, mods. We were rockers. And then you had the surfies. Everyone hated the surfies. So we'd race our bikes around. So one night I had me 125, and a mate of mine had a 250 Vespa, I think. Anyway, so look, I can't beat you around corners and that, so how about we put someone on the back? Anyway, so Peter Peterson was a mate of mine, and I said to him, do you want to come on the back? He said, yeah. I said, you ever been on a bike before? And he said, yeah, I've been on a bike before. Anyway, so we're racing this bloody scooter, and we come around a corner, and there's like a keep left sign standing up in front of us. Come around, I turned left, and Peter Peterson turned right. Needless to say, we hit this sign, and Peter Peterson flew off the bike and spread-eagled him on the sign. He was in total pain. And he broke a collarbone. Well, I think it was collarbone. So we got back to where the shops were, and the mate of mine said, he's only got a dislocated shoulder. We'll just pull it out. He's pulling, he's screaming. And Peter Peterson wasn't a very clean person. And we said, well, better take him over to the Longwood Hospital, just across the street, actually. And Peter said, no, don't take me over there, don't take me over there. Why not? He said, cancer-rated pants. He obviously pooped himself. Anyway, so his mother was not pleased, and he wasn't allowed to play with me anymore because I was a terrible boy. And actually, me and Rollo used to go around catching snakes, usually red bellies, brown snakes, and black snakes. And then we'd kill them and put them in methylated spirits. Now you could imagine, like, how old have been? 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids doing things like that now. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. Anyway, buddy, when I was about, 12, I decided to do judo. There's a local club in Elizabeth South. Anyway, there was a major competition like the South Australian Championships. So you fought against people with the same belt you had, and I think I had green at the time. Because it was white, yellow, green. Yeah, it would have been green. Anyway, out of all our class, I was the only one to make the semi-finals. Anyway, goes up there, and this kid's about half my size. And they said, oh, look, you're going to make the final? He threw me in 10 seconds flat. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Anyway, so on top of that, that's what I mean about being a little shit. The delicatessen at Elizabeth South, round the side used to be like a fence, and that's where they kept all their empty Coke bottles and drink bottles. And back in those days, you used to get deposits. So you could actually take the drink bottles back to buy something. So we used to climb the fence, grab the Coke bottles, take them just into the store and say, oh, we want to buy, I don't know, 6 months worth of sweets, or, shoes worth of sweets. Jeepers Christ. I don't know. I was a total idiot. Anyway, so that's the first part of this story, and I'll have more to say later. I was going to tell a joke, wasn't I? You know what, I haven't got one today, so I apologise. But all is, have a lovely day, God bless, and we'll catch you later. Bye for now.